They say desire is a flame. But what if I told you there's a single phrase whispered with the right energy that could make even the most committed woman feel an unexplainable pull toward you? Not because it's manipulative, but because it resonates with something ancient, buried deep within the psyche, older than romance, older than language. Say this and she'll start chasing you, even if she's taken. Type this in the comments right now. I am the storm they never saw coming. And if this message stirs something in you already, don't forget to like this video, because what you're about to hear has the power to reshape how you understand attraction forever. There's a reason certain men walk into a room and never have to beg for attention. They don't chase, they don't convince, and yet women lean in, eyes widen, hearts race, not because of their looks, not because of money, but because of something far more subtle and far more powerful. A frequency, a presence, an unspoken code that says, I do not need you to complete me, but I see you. You see, desire is not created through words alone. It's summoned, evoked from a place beyond logic. And the most magnetic phrase you can ever say to a woman isn't even about her. It's about you, your essence, your self-possession, your refusal to contort your soul just to win affection. When a man speaks from that place, grounded, detached, and yet piercing with truth, it sends ripples through the air. It interrupts her expectations, and in that sudden pause, attraction is born. In this video, we will journey into the psychology of deep, subconscious desire. Not the surface-level tips you've heard before, but the ancient wisdom that has echoed through the minds of emperors, sages, and silent mystics. We'll explore how the Stoics understood the art of magnetic presence, how ancient philosophies hid the blueprint for irresistible confidence, and how modern psychology now begins to validate what the ancients always knew, that true attraction is not performed, it's remembered. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll walk away not with a line to memorize, but with a truth to embody. And when you do, she won't just notice, she'll feel it, and she won't know why. Shall we begin? Long before dating advice columns, Instagram coaches, or viral pickup strategies, there existed a deeper current of knowledge, a hidden stream of wisdom passed down, not through textbooks, but through temples, scrolls, and the eyes of men who moved through the world with quiet power. The Stoics of ancient Greece, Zeno, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, didn't write about attraction in the way we understand it today. They didn't talk about flirting or seduction, and yet they carried a presence so strong, so unshakable, that their words still echo across millennia, not because they chased approval, but because they embodied something rare, something the world aches for but seldom sees, a man who governs himself. To the Stoics, the highest goal wasn't pleasure, nor the validation of others. It was ataraxia, a state of imperturbable stillness, a deep, unwavering calm rooted in self-mastery. And ironically, that very quality, detachment, serenity, groundedness, is precisely what creates desire in the feminine psyche. Not the wild show of emotion, not dramatic declarations of love, but the opposite. In ancient Rome, emperors were taught to suppress all outward signs of desperation or need, not because they lacked emotion, but because showing need was seen as a fracture in the armor of presence. A woman, whether then or now, feels drawn to a man who doesn't reach outward for validation, but radiates inward power. A man who, in silence, says, I own my breath, I own my thoughts, I own my world. But it wasn't just the Stoics. In India, the sages of the Upanishads spoke of a similar force, brahmacharya, the channeling of life force into focused presence. In ancient Egypt, the priests of Mayat practiced a type of internal equilibrium, balancing the chaos of emotion with the stillness of divine order. Across time, across cultures, the pattern repeats. Those who harness desire don't seek to control others. They command themselves. So how does this tie back to her? The woman who seems unreachable, the one who's taken, the one whose gaze lingers but never lands. Here's the truth the ancients knew. No one is immune to energy, not even her. When you align with your deepest center, when your words arise from a place of full acceptance, not need, something shifts in the air. She feels it before she understands it. Her walls lower, not because you broke through them, but because your stillness made her feel safe. Her curiosity ignites not because you impressed her, but because your mystery challenged her assumptions. That is the art of divine polarity. And here lies the tragedy of the modern man. He's forgotten the temple within. He's memorized tactics, lines and moves, while neglecting the deeper alchemy that once made men irresistible, the sacred silence of power. So the question becomes, how do you awaken that within you? How do you speak in a way that stirs her, not just in mind, but in soul? The answer isn't in what you say, it's in who you are when you say it. And now we begin to uncover the words, not to manipulate her heart, but to awaken yours. Imagine this, you stand before her, not chasing, not convincing, not proving. You say a simple phrase, nothing flashy, nothing rehearsed. But the way you say it, it lands in her like a forgotten memory. It's as if something ancient stirs inside her. She doesn't know why, but her pulse quickens. Her gaze lingers. A warmth blooms in her chest. That moment, it wasn't about the words. It was about the energy behind them. The phrase itself is this: I don't need to be chosen to know my worth. Say that, gently, without arrogance, without bitterness, just pure, grounded truth. And watch what happens. Her mind may resist, but her body, her intuition, her feminine core will hear something far deeper: safety, mystery, power. Because in that sentence, you are signaling that you are not waiting to be validated. You are not moved by desperation. You have stepped out of the game entirely, and in doing so, you become the most compelling player of all. Let's break this down further. The psychology of desire is not rooted in logic. It's not a spreadsheet of pros and cons. It's primal, emotional, subconscious. And for the feminine, what creates that electric pull is not perfection, but presence. A man who isn't afraid of silence. A man who doesn't try to fill the space with flattery or performance. A man who holds his own essence like a storm trapped in a glass. Calm, yet utterly unstoppable. This is where so many men go wrong. They think, if I say the right thing, she'll choose me. But desire doesn't work like that. You must flip the script. You don't speak to win her. You speak to reveal yourself, unapologetically. And when a man dares to speak from that deep place of sovereignty, her soul recognizes him, even if her mind tells her otherwise, even if she's committed elsewhere. Because that kind of energy, pure, non-needy, unwavering, transcends logic. And the heart is rarely logical. It's the same force that drew Cleopatra to Caesar, that pulled Helena to Paris, that made women abandon comfort for the call of something dangerous. Not dangerous in a harmful way, but dangerous because it threatens everything she thought she knew about men, about safety, about longing. When you say, I don't need to be chosen to know my worth. You're saying, I will not shrink myself to fit your idea of love. I will not mold my soul into something more palatable. And if you walk away, I remain whole. That is the very essence of the masculine mystery. It's not aloofness. It's not cold detachment. It's depth without desperation. And here's the paradox. When you let go of needing her, she begins to wonder, why? Why aren't you chasing? Why are you so calm? What do you know that she doesn't? And that question, blooming in her like a slow fire, is the birthplace of true desire. Because in a world where every man is trying to win her, you become the one she tries to understand. But here's where things grow deeper and more dangerous. You see, the moment she feels that energy from you, that calm certainty, that refusal to be pulled by her orbit, something ancient awakens within her. Not just attraction, not just curiosity, but a kind of sacred dissonance, a magnetic tension between who she is now and who she could become in your presence. This is why some women, even those in relationships, find themselves inexplicably drawn to certain men, not because of betrayal, but because something in them remembers. It remembers the archetype of the anchored man, the protector, the seer, the challenger of illusions. He doesn't try to seduce. He simply stands and allows her to feel her own chaos come into stillness when near him. That man, he doesn't manipulate, he mirrors. He reflects back to her the parts of herself she's forgotten, her longing for depth, her ache for surrender, her secret desire to not have to lead, but to feel safe enough to fall into something greater than control. But let us be clear, this is not about taking someone else's woman. This isn't about conquest. It's about resonance. And resonance doesn't ask permission. It simply is. Now, let us peel back another layer of the mystery. Most men live in a reactive state. Their words, their gestures, their energy, it all bends toward approval. But the truly magnetic man lives from a place of response, not reaction. He responds from stillness, from vision, from inner clarity. And that's what makes his presence unsettling, even disarming. Psychologists now refer to this as the affect resonance loop. When a man remains unshaken, emotionally self-contained, and warm without being needy, the woman subconsciously syncs with that energy. Her nervous system entrains to his. Her body feels it before her mind has time to form a thought. And that's when she begins to chase. Not because you convinced her, but because her body whispered, "This is different." Even the Stoics understood this, though they never spoke of chasing or romance. They spoke of eudaimonia, a state of flourishing, of living in accordance with one's highest self. And ironically, when you live in such alignment, you become a beacon. People can't explain it, but they want to be near you. They feel something in your energy they can't name, and they follow it like moths to fire. So the phrase you speak, it matters, but only if it's spoken from that energy. Imagine saying to her, without flinching, "You don't have to choose me. I already belong to myself." Do you feel the gravity in those words? They don't seek to impress. They don't grasp for outcome. They simply declare the truth of who you are. And when that truth is rooted in inner peace, in self-mastery, in a vision greater than romance, that's when she can't look away. That's when even a taken heart begins to question its own comfort. Not because of you, but because of the version of herself she sees reflected in your stillness. You become not a desire, but a portal, a possibility, and the greatest seduction of all. is possibility. Now comes the part where mystery meets muscle, where inner philosophy is not just admired, but embodied, because knowledge alone won't shift your presence. It must be practiced until it bleeds from your eyes, your breath, your posture, your voice. So if you truly want her to feel your energy before you even speak, you must build yourself into something deeper than charm, something rarer than good looks. You must become undeniable. Here's how. First, master the pause. Before you speak, pause. Before you react, pause. Before you try to impress her, pause. The pause is sacred. It signals control. It slows time. It shows you are not pulled by her gravity because you found your own center of orbit. Practice this in every conversation, even in moments of tension. Especially then, she will notice, not consciously at first, but she'll feel it. Second, train your nervous system. This is the hidden source of all attraction. If your energy is frantic, anxious, or restless, it doesn't matter what words you say, she won't trust it. But if you breathe deeply, stand tall, let your shoulders fall, she'll feel your calm like a warm current in the room. Begin each morning in stillness, breath work, cold exposure, stretching in silence. These are not trends, they are rituals. They turn chaos into command. Third, own your gaze. Don't dart around. Don't scan the room. Look and see. When you speak to her, rest your gaze in hers as though you have all the time in the world. Not as a tactic, but because there is nowhere else you need to be. This alone speaks volumes. It says, I am not here to impress. I am here to reveal. Fourth, speak less. Mean more. The man who speaks endlessly about himself is trying to be heard. The man who speaks sparingly, yet strikes deeply, is already heard without sound. Choose your words like they matter, because they do. And when you say something like, you don't have to understand me for me to know who I am, say it with peace, with simplicity, like an ancient truth that needs no explanation. Fifth, create sacred distance. Don't always be available. Don't chase. Don't orbit. You must have a life so rich, so meaningful, that she feels it when you walk away, not with fear, but with wonder. You are the mountain, the stillness, the quiet fire in the cave. She must come to know that she is welcome in your presence, but not entitled to it. These practices, though small, are revolutionary, because in a world of men screaming to be seen, the one who does not shout is remembered. And what happens when you combine all of this? When your presence deepens, your breath slows, your eyes see, your words carry weight, and your energy becomes still. She starts to feel things she doesn't understand. Even if she's with someone else, even if her life is perfect, because the soul knows the scent of authenticity, and it cannot ignore it. But remember this above all. This isn't about winning her. It's about becoming the kind of man she remembers long after you're gone. That kind of man cannot be forgotten. He leaves fingerprints on her spirit, not her skin. He awakens something that no relationship, no commitment, no comfort can silence. And now we arrive at the final moment. Not an end, but a threshold. Because if you've come this far, it means something inside you is stirring. Some part of you remembers. You were never meant to chase. You were never meant to perform, to mold yourself into someone acceptable, to beg for attention like a beggar outside the gates of her heart. Number, you were meant to command a space, to radiate presence, to embody silence so powerful it speaks louder than words. You were meant to be the fire she doesn't see coming, the one that burns slowly, not in her skin, but in her soul. Because here's the truth no one tells you. She's not looking for the man who offers the most. She's looking for the man who needs nothing. She's drawn to the man who, without a word, reminds her of something eternal. The man whose life is full, whose heart is whole, whose gaze asks nothing, but reveals everything. The man who is not waiting to be chosen, because he's already chosen himself. So if she walks away, let her. If she chooses someone else, bless it. Because your path is not toward her, it's toward you. And as you walk that path, slow, deliberate, sovereign, know this: the more you become who you truly are, the more she will feel you, wherever she is. Not through messages, not through likes, but through the quiet ache of a woman who has glimpsed something real and wonders if she'll ever feel it again. You don't need to convince her. You only need to become the mirror she never knew she was looking for. And so, brother, the choice is yours. Do you keep playing the game, spinning the wheel, chasing shadows? Or do you become the storm in stillness, the lighthouse in the dark, the man she chases, even if she's already taken? The ancient ones left no maps for this, only echoes. But if you listen, they're calling you back to yourself, back to the fire, back to the breath, back to the place where desire begins not with her, but with you. If this awakened something in you, type in the comments. I am no longer chasing. I am remembering who I am. And if this resonated, give this video a like. Not for me, but for the part of you that's ready to rise. There are more men who need to hear this, more souls ready to remember. And if you're one of them, welcome home.